I make you the head of Manchester United. What are you doing? Are you clearing house? Are you keeping the manager around for a while? Which I'll have another question about that. But like, what are some how can everything kind of be turned around a little bit?
It's funny because we were talking about putting ads in an episode. I just did a podcast on clearing out the squad.
Okay. All right.
It's on YouTube and on Spotify and Apple as well. But they're £1 billion in debt.
Okay,
Manchester United.
So we clear the debt first.
I mean, that's the best thing to do, but I don't think the debt's getting cleared anytime soon because the Glazer family, who have the Bucks, own it, and they bought the club leveraged with debt.
Okay.
And it doesn't come down because the interest is so high. Like they've paid £1 billion in interest on it since 2005, which is just
debt,
mad.
in layman's term, how does this debt correlate to the squad, to the manager, to even the ownership group? Like, how is that kind of affecting the on-field play? And how can they can't get out of it, like you said?
So obviously they can't bring the debt down because the interest is so high. I think they paid like £18 million in debt interest in the last 6 months or something like that, and that's a really good or a third of a top player, like in terms of a transfer fee. The debt is something that sags the club down. And there was a big decision last year about whether it would be state owned or by Qatar, or if Ineos would get it. But the Glazers, it's unfortunate, and people want to say full sale. And that would be what I would love that as well. I would love the debt to be cleared, but in reality, the Glazers have played an absolute blinder because they are in full control. They're getting no flack for it. They barely put a penny of their own into the club in 20 years, and they've taken United from the best club in England to 15th in the league, with loads of debt, with loads of players who are on massive contracts so they can't shift. And it leaves every manager who gets a chance completely unable to do anything. So Ruben Amorim's the latest one. How realistic that is, I don't know, to be honest, in terms of clearing the debt. But what they can do, and what I did on this podcast, was what they need to change this transfer strategy and start shifting out some of these high earning players and giving better contracts and profiling players and bringing players in who can actually run. Whereas there's a big thing going on around Casemiro at the moment. He was one of the best midfielders of his generation. But
it was 20 years ago in his generation.
Well, it was not even that.